Hey everybody, welcome to The Dose. My name is Brian McIntosh. Talking about good days and bad days. Here's the nasty, ugly truth. Here's the reality that nobody wants to face. No matter how much money you make, no matter how successful you become, no matter how happy your marriage is, how great your kids are, no matter how buff you are, no matter how in shape you are, no matter how good you look in a bikini or a dude bikini, right? You're going to have great days and you're going to have some pretty cruddy days. Things are going to happen to you that are going to be fantastic. Some things are going to happen to you that are going to be not so fantastic. But here's the difference between the way that successful men and women who are not so successful deal with those bad days or those bad things that happen to them. The difference is how they respond to those circumstances. You know, some will yell and scream and get upset and carry on and get in a bad mood, be negative and PO a bunch of people off and just make a big spectacle out of it. And some, however, will retain the perspective that, hey, I can get through this, it's just a bad day or it's just a bad situation or something better around the corner, and they'll have a different perspective or a different attitude coming into that and thus coming out of that situation. Mr. Jim Rohn said it best. The late, great teacher, Mr. Jim Rohn, said that the difference in arrival is not the blowing of the wind, because the same wind blows on us all. The difference in arrival is in the set of the sail. It's your attitude. And you know, in the personal development world, we hear about that so much, right? You're going to work on your attitude. The reality is, attitude truly is everything. See, if you've got an expectant, optimistic attitude, when negative circumstances come your way, then you start thinking of ways to fix it, get out of it, get through it, get past it, put it behind you, and move on. But if you've got a negative, malevolent attitude about the world around you, when negative circumstances hit you, you will have a tendency to wallow in them, to self-pity, to get others to pity on you, to share the bad news with everybody so everybody can say, oh, you poor thing, right? But all that does is keep you stuck in that situation that you don't want to be in. So as good days and bad days happen to you in your life, here's what you need to know. Your happiness in those moments is a choice. It's a decision. There's lots of things that you can do. As you can imagine, I'm discussing this topic because my day today wasn't as great as they have been in the past. It was kind of a rough day in some regards. But you know what? There are things you can do. Attitude is a huge one. Expectancy is a huge one. But there's some other things you can do to just get you into a better mood. Do something you enjoy. For me, it's working out, man. I take my frustration out on the weights, and when I'm done, I feel fantastic. I feel great. Maybe it's spending some time with your kids. Maybe it's hitting the golf course. Maybe it's listening to a certain kind of music. There are things that you can do to turn your attitude around if you're having one of those kinds of days. And let me encourage you to do that as quickly as possible. Make it a point to not be the kind of person that wallows in your misery when you're having one of those kinds of days or when bad things are happening to you or when negative situations or circumstances arise in your life. Because wallowing in it, number one, just makes it last longer. But number two, if you share that misery, whether it's through words, whether it's through stories, whether it's through your attitude, your overall demeanor, the way you treat others, if you share that misery with those around you, here's what happens. You make other people miserable too. And when that happens, they don't want to be around you. And as we know, right, relationships are the number one determination of how far you're going to go and how successful you're going to be in every area of your life. So we've got to guard and protect those relationships by always being the kind of person other people want to be around. So even though we know you're going to have good days and you're going to have bad days, you know how to get through them, you know what to do, and with the right attitude, you can put it behind you quickly and move on to the next great day in your life. That's The Dose, guys. Make it a great weekend.